Hello, Luca. How are you?
Hi, Dina. I'm great, thank you.
And today I'd like to ask you some questions, which are, I'm sure that they are interesting not only for me, but for a lot of people who learn foreign languages. And I know that you can speak 10 languages, right?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
that's correct, more or
And,
less.
do you have some special ability for it, or you do something in particular? What's your secret?
uh, well, I would like to say that when people tell me that I have a huge talent for learning so many languages, I think it's not necessarily true. I think that the main difference is that I know how to learn languages. I've
Mm-hmm.
learned how to pick up languages effectively, and that makes a huge difference because a lot of people make the mistake of they think that they can learn a language. They start learning a language the wrong way, and then they give up. I don't give up because I just found a method that works well not only for me, but I found out it to work well for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that basically I figured out how to learn a language in a certain way, in an effective way. To answer your question, there is a secret. The secret is to understand how to learn
Mm-hmm.
languages. Once you know how to do it, you can learn any language in the world.
Uh-huh. And I know that you learn all languages on your own. And do you use traditional method or have you developed one of your own?
Well, it depends on what you mean by traditional method, but my method surely is not traditional in the
Uh-huh.
sense that I do things my own. I have this method that I call the Luca method because
Uh-huh.
it's mine. I didn't invent it, but I just found it to be the optimal solution for my language learning process. So the answer is yes, I have my own method to learn languages, and the good thing is that when you just apply a method, you're the only person who applies it, and it works. You might think that it just applies to me, just works for me, but I found out that it works for quite a few languages. So I think that it's a good method.
Mhm. And I think that the most popular question is how to learn new words. What your formula for it?
Um, Learning new words is extremely important
Mm-hmm.
when you try to learn a language because it's basically languages, every language is words and sounds. And these are the two main problems for every language learner. I think that the problem in general is that people tend to think that learning words by heart
Mm-hmm.
is the solution. So they come up with lists of words or sentences in which they embed these words.
Mm-hmm.
But I learn words indirectly. It means that I figured out that our brain works in a certain way, and I learn words indirectly, meaning that I use a certain kind of technique, which is a bidirectional technique, translation technique. I use my own native language to learn
Mm-hmm.
words in another language. I think that your own native language is extremely important, and if you know how to use this translation technique, especially at the beginning, you not only figure out the structure, the network of a language, but then words are going to fall into it automatically. So you start learning words automatically. You build your net, and it's going to be easier and easier to learn words. So one a very important thing
Mm-hmm.
is not learning words by heart. This is what I never did,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll never do. And I think everybody should avoid learning words by heart because language is not just an amount of words; it's
Mm-hmm.
about building a network of emotions and words.
Mm-hmm.
Words come with emotions.
Yeah. And what are the first steps you take when you start learning a language?
As I said, the most important phase in language learning is the beginning because
Mm-hmm.
you find yourself in front of a huge mountain and you have to know how to climb it. So the first thing is I tell myself you can start climbing slowly because the path is very long. And I use this bi-directional technique. So I use my own native tongue to figure out the structure of the language, the foreign language that I'm learning, and I use it's called a bidirectional technique. Now, I cannot delve into the details of how this works, but I can assure you that it works quite well if you know how to do it, because it's also important to know how to do things. So first of all, I use a language series, which it's very important to stress the fact that the book that you choose does matter, but what matters the most is how to use language learning material. So I use it in a certain way in order to absorb the information in that book, and I carry out this bilingual translation, and then I move on to other things.
And how do you think, what are the three most important things in learning language?
As I said before, attitude is very important. Attitude means that the way you approach anything in life, it is not just about language learning. A positive attitude is extremely important. For example, once you learn the basics of a language, once you can say certain things, you can try and use them without a problem. If you stumble upon a native speaker, you might try to speak to them in their language, even if you know a little bit of the language itself. And you can try to apply it in real life, because people tend to use books a lot. But I think that human interaction is key in language learning, is what really makes a difference. So attitude is very important. Attitude towards learning in general, and then attitude towards people, because people are the vectors of a language. Or a language is alive because of people, because of the people who speak it. And then obviously time. A lot of people complain about the fact that nowadays it's impossible to learn a language because you don't have the time. You have a family, you have other things that you have to attend to. But in general, I think that everybody always finds the time to do something they like every day. And I think that if you if you imagine native speakers, when they are 18, they have spent so much time learning a language, their own language. And in order to learn a language well, you need a huge amount of time. But the advantage is that time is not our enemy, it's our friend. If you know how to manage time, for example, learning a little bit every day, 30 minutes, if you think about it, 30 minutes is nothing. You will make a lot of progress it's a matter of months, not years. And that's an amazing thing. And then, as I said, the third factor is possibilities in life. Possibilities in life means that when you start learning a language and you speak it at a certain level, even if you have a basic or intermediate level, what you have to do is look for possibilities in life. And look for friends. Look for people you can talk to. Look for a movie that you really like, or like a series that you really like, so you can spend time, expose yourself to the language, and you will learn it automatically, as an automatic process. So it's not just about the amount of books that you use, it's also the possibilities that you have in life, traveling, living in a country, getting maybe a girlfriend or a boyfriend who speaks that language, watching something you really like, listening to some music that you really like. That makes a huge difference in the long run.
Thank you so much, Luke. It was really interesting. Thank you.
Thank you, Dina. Thank you.
Yeah, and see you next time.
See you in Moscow.
Yeah, see you.
See you in Moscow again.
Thank you. Bye bye. Thank you.